Hello, welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. Or of course, if you haven't been here before, hello and welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. This is where we simulate car mechanics. You can't see the car mechanic, for it is me! Right, yeah, okay. Yeah, enough of the nonsense. Let's do a thing. See, look, even the yellow reflections are here. I had to get it in early. Yellow reflections, even though they don't exist. Right, okay, enough of that. Let's do... This looks like a long, complicated job. Right, so, hey, it could be out of our own personal stock of purpley cars. Wonder if we can snaffle it without the customer knowing. No, okay. Okay, he knows the water pump is knackered. He's not quite sure. Oh no, he knows some of the bits. Alright, so it's a bit of everything. Little bit of everything. Let's stick it on the lifter. Try not to react to the yellow and black reflections. Try not to react. I say try not. I'm not trying not to at all. Right. Any of this brakes? No. Okay. But we do have some running gear stuff. So we probably will be taking the wheels off. You can see some of the running gear stuff there. Okay. Bizarrely, the exhaust manifold cover is a bit knackered. Ah, it's because the exhaust manifold is also knackered. I can't decide whether sometimes it's better to do, or helpful to do some testing. It does help notify some stuff, but generally speaking, it's quite good fun just to get in there, because most of the stuff's fairly obvious, especially on a car that's generally speaking as shiny as this. The chocolatey broken stuff stands out really well. So, okay, of course I will be swearing largely later when I can't find the final one thing that's broken, but you know. So that's 24%. I think the cut-off must be quite high as the car looks quite nice. 80%. Yeah, so 80% sort of cut-off area. Alright. I've already forgotten what I'm looking for, and as well as the way of problems. I shouldn't dig too deep into the engine in case there's nothing down here to... Okay, yeah. Some camshaft bearing caps. So that was the engine bearing caps. Now we can see there's all sorts of other bits here that need taking off. Power steering pump, the oil pan there's chocolatey. Hard to tell if everything inside the engine is dodgy. And it might be too late to do a test now, but because we've taken half the engine off, but just to be amusing. Let's test it out. I think we can still do the tests. That's probably a bug that they should fix, because once you've taken the engine apart you shouldn't really be able to test it properly. Okay, so the fuel pump's knackered. The compression test's useful for us because it shows us stuff deep in the engine like pistons that might need fixing. We can wobble it about, look, too, that's important. Okay, so we have got two pistons that need fixing, so we are going deep underground, as they say, into the engine. We have to go deeper. And this will show us general stuff. Catalytic converter, okay, well we knew the engine, the exhaust was a bit knackered. Alright, so that tells us we do have to bury further into the engine, so we might as well continue taking off the rest of this camshaft finagles. Camshaft, there we go. Get rid of this gubbins here as well. Oh, I've got a tickly nose. Tickly nose. No, something's still attached to it. There we go, got our ignition coil. Oh, but it's got the cables attached to it, of course. There we go. And now we can take out the spark plugs. Don't forget those. And then we can take off the engine head. Hey! Okay, and that shows us the two dodgy pistons we need to take out, but of course before we can remove those, of course, we need to actually remove the oil pan. Right, so I thought there's some gearbox issues, is that right? Yeah, gearbox issues. Okay. Okay, we've got most of those engine parts discovered just from general thing. It might be the oil pan's the final one. Let's just find out, shall we? black reflections. Just saying. Again. Okay, but of course first we need the oil drain doodad. Which is this unlikely looking chap over here. And so because we don't want to spend $100 cleaning up the oil as we drain it onto the floor, we have to pop it into this drainer. Bloop, 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 bloop. There we go. It's like a mini game for oil. Right, so now we can remove the oil pan without getting covered in a deluge of goop. And then we can have a way at... Oh yeah, we don't need to actually take the crankshaft out, do we? So we just need to put it back down. And then we can have the pistons out. And then it'll be onto the running gear. So there we go. Pistons removed. Alright. Okay, let's put it back up because we can take all the running gear stuff off with it in the air. It doesn't have to be near the ground. So let's remember how to do it. Press the left button, then the right button, and then the left button again. Right, so can we just... No. Ah, okay. There's more chocolate in there, so let's take off the brakes. I thought maybe I could avoid removing the brakes, but no, there's something underneath the brake disc. Yeah, it's this knuckle or hub, whatever it is. Just get a bit of that off. Alright, outer tie rod. Check your bush. Oh yeah, it's always worth running your finger over your bush. Make sure it's not too rough. I'm not sure if that's the right description. Anyway, let's sideline the bush discussion for now. Okay, we've got this cap to take off. Yep, and the spring. Oh yeah, but bizarrely you have to take off the absorber before you take the spring out. I say bizarrely, you know, because I know nothing about cars. It's probably perfectly understandable if you know what's going on. Oh, there we go, can remove that. I need to go around the other side to get the steering rack off. I need to have removed the tie rods on this side. Noticing the yellow and black reflections there, just saying again. Okay. Oops. The sway bar's okay, yeah. Oh, but this suspension nonsense is also knackered. Oh, so we have to take off the sway bar, of course. That ties into the shock absorber. And then we can get the spring off, which is covered in chocolate. Right, then we need to take this... Oh, we need to get this inner tie rod off, which I already mentioned. I've accidentally removed the sway bar. Let's pop that back in. Sway bar. Right, double check your bush. There's a bush. A bit of chocolatey bush. Why can't I remove that? What am I? I'm in assemble mode, of course. Excuse me. Of course I am. Oh dear. Right, okay, let's get down the chocolatey rear end. That sounds wrong for all kinds of reasons. Oh yeah, we've got some chocolate rims going on here. I don't know why it's funny. It just is. Right, so yeah, I have to take off all of this to get to the chocolatey hubs. Or knuckle, whatever it is. Chocolatey knuckle. Oh god, we have to take everything off. As the actress said to the bishop, that's the easiest way. Easy access, so you still have to take everything off. Suspension arm. How about now? No, we have to take off the chocolatey thing that needs to come off anyway, and it still won't come off. Because of this little... You have to take out this rubber bush under here, so to do that you have to take off all this. And then we can go thwip. Oh, we also have to take off the sway bar link, which we need to take rid of because the sway bar is obviously covered in chocolate too. Fuel pump. Alright, I remembered. Right, check your bush. There's some chocolatey bush here, look. And take the fuel tank out by mistake. That's not something that happens every day. What happened then? Oh, I accidentally take the fuel tank out. How did that happen? Oh, I just sort of tapped on it and it fell out. Okay. Let's get this. I have to take off almost virtually the entire rear end of the suspension. So There we go. And then same again, we've got to take off this knuckle, so we have to remove pretty much everything else connected to it. Sway bar thing, yeah. Actually, take the sway bar off at the back, and this needs to come off. Whip. Yeah. And that one. There we go. Okay. Take out the smooth bush. Right, there we go. So that's all the rear end done. So now, found all the engine. Oh, it was the fuel filter, the fuel pump, of course, at the rear end. Knocking noises. We've still got something we haven't taken off. Timing replaced. Yeah, all the running gear stuff and that stuff, which is similar. Got the gear, the exhaust stuff off. So we've got the gearbox thing to look at, and we've still got one. What was it? Knocking noise thing. Okay. I'm not sure what that might be. So, I've already forgot what I'm doing. Gearbox, which I remember taking the starter motor out specifically for earlier. Ah, look, it's a rear and front wheel drive, or all wheel drive, I guess you'd call it. Front and rear wheels. Crikey. Alright, so we need to take the drive shaft off, I guess. Can't anywhere near the drive shaft, that'd be awesome. No, can't see drive shaft. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. Unbolt that. Yes. Alright, there we go. So now we can pull ourselves back up the... Oh, just walk up the front, I guess. Where is it? Here it is. Accidentally go into assemble mode. So there we go. We take off the gearbox, which looks fine, but it hides. It's a cacophony of chocolate. That's right. There we go. And looks like the flywheel's also made of chocolate. There. So that is... Oh, it's the clutch release bearing making the noise. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's interesting. I wonder if I'll remember that in future. So that's everything discovered. So now we can go through purchasing all the parts. This is the fun bit. Right, 3 camshaft caps. Camshaft cap. Presumably not I6, no. Crankshaft pulley I4. Crankshaft pulley I4. Exhaust manifold I4 socks. Exhaust manifold with socks. Manifold with socks. There it is. We want a manifold cover as well, do we? Yes, and a fuel filter and fuel pump. Right, an oil pan and 2 pistons. Oil pan, that's a fuel tank, don't need that. Oil pan and 2 pistons. Oil pan I4, good. It's not a normal one. 2 pistons. Power steering pump I4 and a water pump I4. So power steering pump I4 and a water pump I4. Alright, knocking noises, clutch release bearing. An idle roller A. Idle roller A. That's crankshaft pulleys, they look the same. Idle roller A. And a timing cover I4 socks. Nope, don't want to buy that. Timing cover I4 socks. Timing belt cover. Timing cover. There we go. Right. Replace timing related parts. Have I just done that? That's very similar. Belt tensioner, timing belt, water pump. I've bought the water pump already, haven't I? Yeah. Okay, that's annoying. Belt tensioner, timing belt. So timing belt. What was it? Timing belt I4 sock. This is what that's like having no memory. Timing belt I4 sock. There we go. And then something at the top of the list, which I've already forgotten. A belt tensioner. There we go. Good grief. No, not a battery. Let's go well. Okay, running gear. Fuck, I can't even talk. Front drive axle C. front drive axle C, yes. A front shock absorber cap and 2 front springs. Front shock absorber cap, 2 front springs. A front wheel hub and an inner tie rod. Front wheel hub. And a tie rod, yes. Rear axle knuckle housing A times 2. Rear knuckle housing A times 2. A rear shock absorber A and a rear spring. Rear suspension arm B. Rear suspension arm B. Yep. Rear sway bar B, rear wheel hub. Rear sway bar. Rear sway bar. There's one. Oh, it's one of these. I was looking for something else. So what is it? Rear sway bar B. Okay. And I've already forgot the other thing. Rear wheel hub, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rubber bushings. Rear wheel hub, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bits of bush. A spring cap and a steering rack. And a partridge in a pear tree, and 2 wheel hub bearings. Alright. Controlling car feels loose, so you got to guess whether you need another inner tyre rod or not. I can't remember, so I'll just get another one. Inner tyre, I don't cost a huge amount, I don't think. Inner tyre rod, no, $30. 2 outers and a steering rack. 2 outers and a steering rack. Sway bar front end link A and a sway bar rear end. Sway bar front end link A, sway bar end link. Yes. Okay, loud and accelerating. Cat and exhaust pipe. Cat and an exhaust pipe. Middle muff and a rear muff I4. Middle muff, rear muff I4. There we go, it's easy. Gearbox, clutch, pressure plate and flywheel. Alright, there we go. Now we just put it all back together. As simply as that. And we put some music on. That's it's music from the 70s. Showing my age. Oh dear. Alright. Maybe we'll sort of skip that music. I can't sing very well. I can't quite remember what the tune's from. Yay, 2 steering racks! All kids need 2 steering racks. Power pump? Oh, I can't do... Oh, I'm in the wrong place to do all this stuff. Oops, zoom out a little bit. More tie rods than you can shake a stick at. Oh yeah. Oh, bit of rubber bush. Waterproof bush. Is that a joke? No, it's not really, is it? Inner tie rods. Outer tie rod. Yes. Bit more bush. Hubba. Very slotty apparently, sorry about that. Good. That's what you want to hear, isn't it? Let's brake gubbins back on, and then a wheel once we've put on the other bits that aren't here yet. Why can't I not? Oh, you've got to put the spring on first. This has always confused me about these bloody shock absorbers, because I'm expecting to put this bit on first. And apparently haven't still remembered that you don't do it in that order. Right, and now I can put on the sway bar. Or, you know, the exhaust, which I could have just put on. But it wasn't a sway bar. There you go, look. Whoops. Rim basic. Okay. So, yeah, it's all on. Alright. Let's put the rim basic on. Yep. Alright, no. Alright, what else can we do? Why couldn't I put this side on? What was I missing? Oh yeah, the spring and the things. There we go, look. It's easy once you know how, like most things. Alright, sway bar. No, can't see it there. I thought it was the edge of the sway bar, but it was just, well, it just wasn't. That's basically all there is to it. Fucking yellow and black. Grrr! Right, so, oh, if it's going to leave me in the middle here, let's put on some exhausty bits. Get the drive shaft back on yet? Yes, we can. Just about reach it with our extendable spanner. Oh, there we go. Wrench, socket, thingamajig. I don't know quite what the right word is for it. There we go. And then we can continue adding all this rear suspension malarkey. I like the fact I can put all this stuff on through here. I know I've covered it up with axle now. Just feeding things through this tiny hole to screw in just amused me. In a small fashion. I'd forgotten how much of this we need to put back together. Good grief, right. Is it the knockout? It's a knockout. Is that what I'm singing? Psh, such an English show. I mean, there might have been an American version of it. It wouldn't have been called It's a Knockout, I don't think. They'd have called it, you know, Family Team Fun Day or something, which is slightly more descriptive, I guess. Oh dear. It's a Knockout, part of our 70s heritage in England on the TV, and of course presented by a now disgraced former presenter who's in prison for sexual abuse or something. Seems to be quite a lot of that going on in the 70s. Terrific. Wow, I've got more fuel pumps than you can shake a stick at as well. Weird what you end up buying lots of. It could quite easily say when you're purchasing something, you have 3 of these, you know, and it can show you the colour. It could say 2 in green, 2 in yellow, and 1 in red, and it would show you that you had 1 red one, 2 green ones, 2 yellow ones. I mean, that would be really easy. Stock control system from the 50s, this, it really has. Back in the days when people say, I don't know how much stock I've got. Well, yeah, but this is the modern days with databases and accounting things and barcodes and automatic processing. So, sorry, that doesn't wash anymore. Alright, I think that's most of the stuff. So, yeah, just the brakes to go back on. Oh, yeah, let's bolt that on, stick a wheel on. Alright. We remembered the fuel pump, put the fuel tank back in, and that might be most of the rear end done. So how are we doing overall? Done all those. We're still missing some rear suspension arms, that's at the back, so... Where have I not put these? Right. Aha. There we go. I think it's slightly surprising to me that you can put the wheel on without having got all these bits back in, but I mean obviously it's not reliant on them, but that's just kind of the way I think it should do it. So timing, engine and engine, so that's all done down the front. So what do we need to put in here? Pistons for a start, let's bring it down. So we've got piston, and then we can start rebuilding all this nonsense. Okay, I've got that tune on my head, whatever it is, which is weird because actually in my head I've got the Vikings TV theme tune, which is quite sort of somber and but yeah, very good. It's got quite ethereal credits with people flopping about in water to this sort of dirgy tune. It's very good. If you're at all into Viking-y things, I can recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime at the moment, or it's in the UK. It was on Netflix, I think, until just after I got Netflix, but there you go. 3 series of Vikings, 29 episodes, I believe. And now I'm back on to watching Black Sails, because you can't have too much oldie-worldy violence, apparently. Right, okay, timing cover. Oh yeah, it doesn't need any bolts. These various crankshaft pulleys and such. That's right. Wait until you're not on the thing and then press your button. Okay, is that... yeah, that's it. No more tightening devices required. Alright, let's continue rebuilding the engine. Okay, there we go. And then the cover. Good. So that's that all done at the top. So we've still got the oil pan cover to put on, and the gearbox is all done. That might be it. Oh look, we've forgotten to put this cap on. I have to go in through here to do that. Okay, that's that done. So let's lift it up and put the oil pan on. At this point, whilst it's moving up in the air, I'd like to press O, which is the what do I need to do button, the one that brings up that menu, and find out what else I needed to do, because whilst it's in motion, no, you can't do that. My god, even this black, plasticky oil thing has got a reflection of the yellow and black on it. Grumble, grumble. Right. Repair all engine faults. Oh, the bloody manifold cover, of course, for the exhaust. It's akin to the old engine cover that none of the cars have, but in the previous game, they used to all have this engine cover, this plastic cover that I used to forget to put on all the time. Oh, the spark plugs, look, that'll help the engine run. And I guess if you want spark plugs, you're probably going to want the rest of your ignition electronics as well. Let's get them attached. Some of these customers are so fussy, you know. There we go. Okay, so that should be fantastic looking purple car. Job done. Give it a little polish. Don't step too far back, because otherwise you won't be able to do that. And no, we forgot. Oh, the oil, of course. Always the oil. There we go. So that would have been good. We'd have started the engine up, it would have sounded a bit rough, and then very quickly it probably would have gone crunch, crunchy, crunch. Actually, I'm not sure the engine would start without oil in it. But then we'd be replacing the entire engine, probably. Alright, but luckily it's a simulation, so we don't have to do that. Bye. Right, let's see, that took about as long as I thought it might, so we will leave it there. 40 grand, again, almost enough to go to the what's it called, the auction place, but maybe we'll do that next time. Go and buy a car to do up and then sell for cashings, money cashings. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to leave.